LeighTDickey.com. Well, hello everybody, Leigh Dickey here. How are you all today? Welcome to another episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. Today I want to tell you guys about that time I decided to dress up as Santa for Halloween. And spoiler alert, I nearly got my ass kicked for it. But since Halloween is just around the corner, it is coming up because today, as of this recording, it is October 20th. And Halloween is about a week and a half away, maybe close to 2 weeks. So that's what today's episode is. That time that I dressed up as Santa Claus for Halloween and nearly got my ass kicked for it. But before we get into the bulk of today's episode, into the body of today's episode, I want to tell you where you can find the Beats and Speaks podcast. The Beats and Speaks podcast releases new episodes every Friday at midnight Eastern Time on my official website, LeighTDickey.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts, wherever your favorite podcasts are available. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube as well under Leigh Dickey TV. Rate and leave us a review. You can leave reviews on my official Facebook page, which is facebook.com/LeighTDickey, and I will feature them right here on the podcast. I will read them out and put them front and center on my official website, LeighTDickey.com. If you would like to be a guest on a future episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast, email me at LeighTDickey, that's LeighTDickey at gmail.com, and we will set something up and go from there so you can hear yourself on a future episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. Now that is all out of the way, all that housekeeping is taken care of, let's get into that time I decided to dress up as Santa Claus for Halloween and I nearly got my ass kicked. So let's just jump right into that, okay? I suppose that's why we're here, so let's just get right into it. Last year, Halloween of 2018, I thought it would be funny. Okay, I did this to be funny because I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a good idea because if you dress up as Santa Claus, everybody's so touchy-feely about, Christmas coming or the holidays coming too early and stores getting their stuff in, like their decorations and their holiday stuff in way, way too early. Okay, I understand that that's the thing. That is a corporate edict. I have nothing to do with that. I do not work for a corporate entity, but I'm a fan of Christmas, right? However, I dressed up as Santa Claus to be funny. Okay, I thought it would be ha-ha funny, and people took it the wrong way. For the most part, people they laughed, which is what I wanted. I wanted people to laugh. However, there were some that were like, come on, man, really? We should take this outside. You're an idiot. Like, why are you doing that? It's not even November yet. You're a bit early. I'm like, you don't get the joke, do you? Like, I was sitting at a Starbucks, okay? And yeah, we're going to drop names. Starbucks doesn't sponsor the show, but it's a coffee shop that isn't that far from where I live. And so I happened to go in there just because I thought it would be funny. I mean, I haven't really dressed up for Halloween for a long time, and I thought that why don't I just do this because it would be funny. So I threw on a Christmas sweater, a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation sweater, like that. There's an RV. I threw that on, had a pair of jeans on, and I had a Santa hat that's at my house. So I threw that on and was like, you know what? Let's do this because it would be funny. And you cannot tell me that that's not funny because it is. Like, let's face it. It's the perfect Halloween costume because on October 31st, dressing up as Santa Claus is a Halloween costume. On November 1st, it's just seasonally acceptable holiday clothing. And it's perfect because usually November 1st means the kickoff to the holiday season. You hear the Christmas music and the Christmas carols and all the decorations go up. Yes, there are some stores that get that stuff in early, but for the most part, November 1st is your holiday season kickoff. I get to the Starbucks, right? I sit down and I'm just doing my work, whether I'm on my phone or I'm on like my tablet or what have you, my iPad. And I've got this Santa hat on and the National Lampoon's That There's an RV Christmas sweater, and people are coming in. Some of them are, like, for the most part, people are laughing and they get the joke. Smart people, when they get the joke, it's great. But then you'll get those people that are, come on, bro, you're stupid. Like, you're early. What are you doing? I mean, I remember there was a guy who was probably like in his 40s, well-to-do, dressed up in a suit to the nines, had a tie on, looked like, a business professional. And he wanted to fight me. He physically got up in my face and wanted to fight me. I said, yeah, and I just looked at him and said, you really don't get the joke. For a guy that makes about 6 figures a year, as you put it, because we did get into it a little bit, you make 6 figures plus per year, and you don't get the joke, right? If you're pulling in more than 6 figures a year, and this is your biggest problem, the fact that on October 31st, I decided for Halloween that I was going to dress up as Santa Claus, minus the beard, because I didn't have any facial hair then, and I didn't go out and buy a fake Santa beard, which I probably should have done, but oh well. If me dressing up as Santa Claus ticks you off and upsets you that much that is your biggest problem, you have a problem, okay? You have an issue. You have, it's people like that who didn't get the joke and that will never get the joke that I am just not a big fan of. I just don't like them because they're way too serious. They take themselves way too seriously. They take life way too seriously. And I can't even, when's the last time you had any fun? It's like people constantly, I'm on a cleanse. Well, when's the last time you had, stick to your ribs barbecue, or you went to, your favorite sandwich shop and just ate until you burst? When's the last time you did that? Oh, I don't remember. That's because you've forgotten how to live. You've forgotten basically how to have fun. You've forgotten how to laugh. And that's exactly what my Santa costume was designed for. I want people to laugh. I wanted people to laugh. I got that for the most part, but there were some that were like, you're stupid. Why are you doing that? You're dressing up as Santa Claus. You're way too early. It's not even November. I'm well aware of that. Okay? And maybe I set myself up for the reactions that were a little unpleasant, but I thought it would be funny. Dressing up as Santa Claus, you can't tell me that that's not hilarious. Dressing up as Santa Claus for Halloween. Are you really gonna... Granted, yeah, okay, at that point I was 29 years old, I was an adult, I could handle it, right? I got no problem with that. But if I were, say, a little kid and I decided to do that, and my parents let me, say, and I just walked around in a Santa get-up, is that the way you want to act in public? Is that the way you want your kids to see you? Because, most of these people that got upset were with their kids, right? That's the way you want your kids to perceive you. You want them to perceive you as an absolute asshole, as an absolute jerk, right? And, congratulations, you've succeeded in being an absolute asshole, in being an absolute jerk in front of your children. Because, in my opinion, if my kid wanted to dress up as, say, Elf, or as an elf, or as Elsa for Halloween from Frozen, or as Santa Claus, or, as Santa's little helper from The Simpsons, or anything to do with, say, Christmas or the holidays, or something that wasn't conventional for Halloween, and I said, yeah, go ahead, and people just got ticked off and upset because somebody, somewhere along their lifespan, somewhere in their life, somebody said that was, I don't want to say illegal, but that wasn't normal, and that's their way of thinking, then I feel sorry for them. And to be quite honest, I'm going to be unapologetic about who I am, and I'm going to basically do what I feel like. I'm going to do what I want, and if that means I'm going to dress up as Santa Claus for Halloween just to make people laugh and just to see people smile, because there were people that did smile. Right? There were people that got the joke. And to those people that got the joke, thank you. Okay? But to those people that got physically angry at me for no reason, I'm sorry, but I feel bad for you. And you really, really need to reevaluate your life. You need to take a good, long, hard look in the mirror and say, you know what, is that the image that I want to project to other people and to my children and to, say, like, my wife or girlfriend or like my significant other? Just honestly, think of the last time you had fun. Think of the last time you had a laugh at something. But clearly, like, you just didn't get the joke. Somebody dressing up as Santa Claus for Halloween. Yeah, okay, I've got pretty thick skin, and I can take it. I can take the, wow, you're way too early, you're stupid. Like, it's not like I haven't been called worse, and people haven't said worse to me before. But the fact that you didn't get the joke, and you took the time, and you made the decision, basically, in your mind, to get pissed off, get ticked off at me for dressing up as Santa Claus for Halloween, because on October 31st, the Santa getup is a Halloween costume. On November 1st, it's just seasonally acceptable holiday clothing. You made the decision to take it the wrong way, to get offended, right? To basically get butthurt, because that's who you are, and that's, I suppose, that's what you believe is normal. Like, you know, Christmas should start, say, for some people, I understand that Christmas starts early, but I am a Christmas fanatic, and I think about it all year long. And yes, I said Christmas. I've said Christmas several times in this episode. I fluctuate between the two. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that sort of stuff. And I will probably say both, but, you know, I celebrate Christmas, and I absolutely love Christmas. I am a fanatic for it, okay? In terms of, like, the decorations, the images, the window displays, and things like that, right? When it comes to Halloween, I figured that was a stroke of genius on my part, okay? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn too much and too hard, but it was a stroke of genius. That is the ultimate costume. I mean, granted, I understood that to a certain aspect, that people probably were going to think I was nuts for dressing up as Santa Claus, but I was willing to take it. I didn't expect people to get physically angry and want to have a fist fight with me inside and or outside of a coffee shop. I really didn't expect that, in front of their kids, no less, while they're there watching. I mean, what's wrong? And, you know, there was this one little boy who asked his dad, why does he look like Santa Claus? And I overheard the father tell his kid, because he's stupid. Don't ever do that. And I'm like, way to shoot down the poor kid's imagination, right? Like, it's not my fault that for some reason you get offended at my costume choice. Now, it's not like I walked into the Starbucks, into the coffee shop with nothing on. I was wearing clothes. Yes, it was an ugly Christmas sweater that had National Lampoon on it, and it was a Santa hat because I hadn't dressed up for a long time. I figured, I don't know whether in my own head I was thinking I was getting too old to dress up for Halloween. I mean, I was 29 last year, I'm 30 this year, and I don't have kids, and I'm single, so I don't know whether or not people thought, you know, it was kind of weird, but I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't have time for other people's opinions. You have an opinion on me, that's great, and I'm glad you do, okay? Congratulations, you have an opinion on me, but so does everybody else, and to be quite honest with you, I don't answer to you, and I'm going to form my own opinions because I'm an adult, and I can do that, right? I'm a mature adult, and I'm, you know, mentally stable enough to form my own opinions on people, certain subjects, or whatever I please. Now, when it comes to me dressing up as Santa Claus for Halloween last year, that was a choice. I wanted to do that because I thought it would be funny. Again, I did it for the funny factor. I did it for the laughs. I didn't expect the amount of people that got angry to get angry. I really didn't expect the whole people get angry for no reason when it comes to me dressing up as Santa Claus for Halloween. You didn't get the joke, and to be quite honest with you, I don't have time for people that take life too seriously and take themselves way too seriously and that can't have a laugh and can't have a little fun. They've forgotten how to live. They've forgotten how to be kids. They've forgotten how to laugh. They've forgotten to have fun. But that's just my opinion on what happened last year when it came to me dressing up as Santa Claus. And I don't know whether I'll dress up as Santa Claus again or I'll throw on another Christmas or holiday themed getup. I may just, go as me this year, depending on how I feel. I may just, throw jeans on, throw a varsity sweater on or something, and call myself Danny Zuko for Halloween this year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might just go as me, myself, and I, because that's probably the best way to go about things. I mean, not that, I'm afraid to dress up as Santa Claus again, but given what happened last year, I'm not sure I want to go through that, where people wanted to physically fight me and kick my ass, as a few of them did say. Not that scares me, but it's like you're getting offended over the littlest thing. I mean, if that's the biggest thing in your life and in your day that offends you, then clearly you're paying attention to the wrong things and need to get your head out of your ass and you get your head examined, basically, because you are completely lopsided and you have problems and you have issues. And I really, really hope you get them sorted and solved, and if you have children and you're teaching them that having an imagination like the one that I had last year, or the one that I have at all, where I decide to dress up as Santa Claus for Halloween because it's funny, ha ha, and I want to get people to laugh, I want to make them smile, I want to make them happy. But if you're going to get offended because that's not normal and this guy's an absolute weirdo because he decides it's a good idea to dress up as Santa Claus, even though he's trying to be funny and make us all laugh, I'm going to get upset, I'm going to get offended, and I'm going to tell everybody else about what I saw and how upset that made me. It's just really, man, think about it. But when I tell people to think about things, that's the problem. They don't want to think. They want the answers right then and there. And to be quite honest, all you have to do is wait, think about it. Because, again, like I said, it is the perfect holiday costume, right? On October 31st, on Halloween, it's the perfect Halloween costume. Because on November 1st, 24 hours later, or as soon as that clock strikes midnight, I will not turn into a pumpkin, by the way. So don't call me Cinderella. Or you could if you wanted to. But as soon as the clock strikes midnight on November 1st, it's just seasonally acceptable holiday or Christmas clothing. So there, and deal with it. That was my logic, and that was why I wanted to dress up as Santa Claus for Halloween. It was perfect. What do you guys think? Am I in the right? Was I in the right? Was I in the wrong? Do you think it's weird? Do you think it's stupid? Let me know. Post it in the comments below. Again, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. This has been another episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast, and I am your host, Leigh Dickey. Again, new episodes of the Beats and Speaks podcast released every Friday at midnight Eastern Time on my official website, leightdickey.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast. Remember to leave us a review. You can leave us a review on your favorite podcast app and on my official Facebook page at facebook.com/LeighTDickey, and I will feature them right here on the Beats and Speaks podcast and on my official website, leightdickey.com. If you would like to be a guest on a future episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast, please email me at leightdickey@gmail.com, and we will set something up and go from there so you and I can have a conversation and go back and forth so you can find yourself here on a future episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. But that's it for this week. That's it for today. And that's why I decided to dress up as Santa Claus for Halloween last year. I had a ton of fun doing it, minus the threats for, where people decided they wanted to tell me they were going to kick my ass because they thought I was a weirdo and thought I was stupid, thought I was an idiot, and thought I was way too early. You didn't get the joke, and to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to sit you down and try and explain it to you when you're that heated. So calm down a little bit, take a good, long, hard look in the mirror, and remember what it was like to be a kid and have an imagination and have fun and not be so jaded, and you'd get the joke. But if you just step back for 30 seconds or even a minute and think about things, you probably wouldn't have gotten ticked off. You probably wouldn't have thought that I was a weirdo, that I was stupid. I mean, you can have an opinion on me. it doesn't matter, okay? But that's why I decided to dress up as Santa Claus last year for Halloween. I don't know whether I'll do it again this year. I might, depending on how I feel in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. But it was fun just to see people's reactions, whether they were great, the good ones, the not so good ones. All of it was fantastic anyway, whether or not they threatened to basically beat me up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition or today's edition of the Beats and Speaks podcast. Again, I am your host, Leigh Dickey, and we will see you all and talk to you all next Friday at midnight Eastern time for a brand new episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. All right, I've been your host, Leigh Dickey, and I am out of here. I'm signing off. Remember, you can find the Beats and Speaks podcast on your favorite podcast app and my official website, leightdickey.com. All right, Leigh Dickey, signing off. Peace. leightdickey.com